The country club gasped as Ella walked in, wearing a custom Vera Wang dress and a $75,000 diamond necklace. But it wasn't her outfit that caused jaws to drop. It was the man holding her hand. Jake, in his plain black waiter uniform, walked beside her like a king with his queen. Whispers buzzed. She married the help? Does she even know he's broke? But what they didn't know was that Jake Kingston wasn't just a waiter. He owned the building and the chain of luxury hotels across 3 states. And tonight, he was going to blow their minds. Ella Prescott grew up with wealth, but not love. Her father, a ruthless venture capitalist, believed emotions were liabilities. When Ella turned 22, she left the cold mansion in Connecticut behind to follow her heart and ended up working at a small art studio in Brooklyn, where she met Jake. Jake worked the late shift at the cozy cafe next door. Always polite, always humble. Ella liked that he never talked about himself. He listened. He made her laugh. He remembered her favorite tea. And over time, he earned her heart. To the world, Jake was just a poor waiter with good manners. Even when he proposed with a small ring under a rainy bridge in Central Park, Ella said yes without blinking. She didn't care about the money. She wanted a man who treated her like treasure. But behind Jake's soft smile and stained apron lay a secret. Jake Kingston wasn't poor. He was a billionaire, CEO of Kingston Hospitality Group, which owned 98 luxury resorts worldwide. So why the disguise? Because Jake had one rule. If you love me when I'm nothing, not when I'm everything. The invitation came from Ella's estranged father. Bring your husband to the Wellington Club's gala, he said coldly. Ella was hesitant. She hadn't spoken to her family in months, but Jake smiled and said, let's give them a show. Jake showed up still wearing his waiter's outfit. Ella wore a dress he designed for her, silk with their initials stitched inside. They walked in together, hand in hand. The gasps came instantly. She really married a nobody. Does she realize she just gave up a life of luxury for some broke cafe guy? Poor thing, must be love blind. Even Ella's father, Richard Prescott, looked Jake up and down with disgust. My daughter married a server. This is embarrassing. Jake smiled, offered him a handshake. Richard refused. Then came the real blow. As they sat for dinner, the head hostess approached. Sir, we'll need you to eat in the kitchen. Staff don't dine with guests. The room chuckled. Someone even took a video. Ella's eyes welled up. Jake stood up, placed his napkin down, and calmly whispered something in the hostess's ear. She froze. The manager arrived. Then the owner of the club. Everyone started whispering. And then, just loud enough for the entire hall to hear, the club owner said, Mr. Kingston, forgive us. We didn't realize you were visiting today. You still own 34% of this club. Gasps. Forks hit plates. Ella's father went pale. What did he just say? Mr. Kingston? Like Kingston Resorts? Jake pulled out his phone, showed the club's board listing. His name was at the top. Ella blinked in confusion. Jake, you said you were a waiter. Jake smiled, kissed her forehead, and whispered, I still am, but also a CEO who happens to love his queen. The next morning, social media exploded. Waiter turns out to be billionaire CEO. Jake Kingston, hidden billionaire, shocks NYC elite. Ella's father showed up at their penthouse, now visibly shaken. Jake let him in, served him tea, just like a waiter would. Why hide all of this? Richard asked. Jake replied calmly. Because money is loud, but love should be quiet. And your daughter? She's the loudest love I've ever known. Ella blushed. Richard looked down, ashamed. For the first time, he saw how happy his daughter was, without yachts, diamonds, or cold boardrooms. Later that week, Jake flew Ella to Paris in his private jet. She woke up to rose petals, a handwritten letter on the hotel balcony, and a bracelet that once belonged to his mother. He spoiled her, but not with things, with time, with truth, with love. Months later, when Jake opened his newest luxury resort in Miami, guess who cut the ribbon? Not a politician, not a celebrity. It was Ella. Jake handed her the scissors and whispered, You walked into my cafe. You changed my life. Now walk with me into forever. Because sometimes the waiter isn't just the man who serves. He's the man who built the table and chose you to sit at the head of it.